Okay. So, I've noticed for a long time, but never really thought about why, almost all my favorite movies have trains in them. After thinking about it a lot, I came up with 5 main characteristics that make trains so special in film. There's intimacy, lateral movement, melancholy, ephemerality, and chance. Bam. Let's start with the first. So there's a certain kind of intimacy that I don't think a film can achieve if it puts its character into a boat or say a plane, because with these two, you're out in the middle of nowhere and you're completely isolated from the world. But if you're on a train, you're surrounded by people and you're still connected with society because civilization is right outside your window. And I think it adds a much more interesting layer if you're surrounded by people but still feel out of touch or urban alienation. But the symbol of the train is so versatile and we have room to play with. Trains are essentially these public spaces on wheels, communal, serene spaces with beautiful views where you don't have to worry about traffic or keeping your eyes on the road. And that's why it's so special to spend time with your loved ones or even meet new loved ones on trains. It's intimate and romantic. But let's talk about chance encounters later. Now, unlike buses, cars, and boats, trains are a one-way mode of transportation, staying on just one train track. Since they're always moving straight ahead, trains are a really effective means by which to express forward progress or embarking on a new exciting journey. In a society driven by progress, we don't want the train to stop or screw up. But there can also be movement within the train, and this is where the lateral movement part really comes in.
Eat from me. Drink from me. Drink from me. Drink from me. Drink from me.
You can only move 2 directions, left or right. Bong Joon-ho's Snowpiercer, one of the most lateral films to date, uses this idea really well. As Tony Zhao puts it,
each decision he faces seems to be a simple variation on these 2 directions. But the film doesn't make it easy for him, and sometimes he goes backwards.
Curtis, my friend, we understand each other. Listen to my words, it wasn't me!
When he finally reaches the end of his journey, Curtis is pushed by yet another person to go forward.
I've devoted my entire life to this.
Well, what does it mean when a train doesn't progress? Peppermint Candy is a movie whose scenes are in reverse chronological order, and each chapter is separated by camera shots of a train speeding along the South Korean countryside played in reverse. The train is moving backwards, almost in an infinite regress. In this case, it works so well because the entire film is about longing for days past before Korean society was taken over by the spread of capitalism and contemporary financialization. My next point concerns my favorite word in the entire English dictionary, melancholy. Truth is, we're surrounded by tons of people when we go on trains, but chances are we probably won't take the initiative to talk to any of them. But I'd say my favorite part of going on the subway or the metro is the people watching. I take on this observant, passive role and feel like I'm just going through all the motions. Trains capture this feeling so perfectly. It's sort of this transcendent existential experience that makes you feel like sometimes you're just waiting for the seconds to pass. And it's something that I really relate to on a personal level. They say humans are social creatures, but interestingly enough, we don't go on trains full of people to socialize.
Hi.
I'm sorry?
I just said hi.
It's sort of a hiding space for us to have these cheesy, beautifully sad, melancholic feelings while getting from point A to point B at the same time. Oldboy uses it as a setting where the female character, Miro, weeps and hallucinates due to her lack of a father figure. Then again, the use of the train is really versatile. There are lots of possibilities. Sometimes people do talk. They do come in touch with strangers. My last 2 points are pretty much intertwined: ephemerality and chance. Trains represent ephemerality and transience to the fullest, because once they're off, they're off. It especially tugs at our heartstrings to see 2 people brought together by trains, only having to eventually say goodbye and not knowing when they'll ever see each other again. So they want to preserve these moments and these magical encounters. It's a chance for them to impose their free will on a situation, and who knows, maybe spend the rest of their lives with someone they love.
Let me get my bag.
It's much easier and not nearly as romantic to chase after a bus or run after a boat. You can't stop a train, but it's up to your free will to alter the meaning of its consequences.
Listen, you know all this bullshit we're talking about not seeing each other again? I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that either.
You don't either?
I was waiting for you to say it.
Why didn't you say something?
Well, unless you're this guy. Or that guy. Or that guy. Ah, fuck it.